Hi, everyone. Happy Monday.
Hello.
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. And a long lost friend has rejoined
Yes.
us. It's
Oh
so
my
good to see
gosh.
you, Carly.
So good to be back and good to see you. It feels weird.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Matt, as I just said before we started recording, Matt was great. Andy was great. Ashley Carter was great. Thank you to all of our fill-in
Yes. Thank
co-hosts.
you.
But it's good to have the band back together, right?
Yes. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Does that make me Hall or Oates? Wait, they
Oh,
don't talk to each other
I
anymore.
was
So
just
that's
about to
probably a
say they hate
bad
each other.
bad
So
comparison. It's so good to see you. Let's see who we've got already hopped in the chat, and of course, Michael Bingham is here to welcome you back.
yay.
Uh, Today's secret word is fun. All
Oh,
right, well, let's have some fun.
yes. Love
Yay!
the Pee-wee reference.
In Derek Ho's corner, Blossom and Michelangelo, welcome as always. Hi, John Self. He's typing away. Thanks for checking in with us. And yeah, Michael's very happy that you're here. Lots of smiley
Yay.
faces. Brian Sager is checking in, saying this week is going to be crazy busy. Absolutely, between Midsummer Scream, Paris 2024 Olympics starting, San Diego Comic Con
Oh
with
boy.
the
A
Hall
lot.
H. Deadpool versus Wolverine opens up right at the end of this week.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a busy week.
A lot.
All right. Well, since we've got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about, and we've got already almost 50 people in the stream, let us kick this thing off in 3, 2.
Please lower your head and watch your step while boarding.
Welcome to the Attractions Podcast. You are all clear for dispatch. Have fun.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Attractions Podcast, sponsored by MEI and MEI-Travel. I'm Seth,
And I'm Carly.
and we are here to talk to you about the latest and greatest in theme park news and more, as well as what's been going on in our own lives. Carly, I want to wish you a belated happy birthday and a big welcome back. We've missed you the last few weeks. Give us all a little hint of what you've been up to.
Thank you. I honestly can't even remember. There was so many things.
So many
We got
things.
to hang in Universal Orlando
Yes, we got to
together.
see each other briefly.
Yes,
It was great.
we got to watch the parade together and
Mhm.
go on my favorite ride, ET.
Yeah.
So I have been kind of all over, mostly between Disney World, Universal, back and forth. There's been a lot to cover recently. This summer has been crazy with openings and new offerings. And then I went on the brand new Royal Caribbean ship, the Utopia of the Seas, which we'll be talking about a little later.
I cannot wait to hear all about that trip. I saw lots of great photos. It looks amazing. I did not have nearly as an exciting week as you did. My week was mostly theme park free. I did take a trip
Wow.
over to Universal for the official opening day of that new parade, which we got to see.
Yep.
Honestly, did not notice any differences between when we saw it and when it officially opened. As by my count, there's still only 11 floats instead of 13. So hopefully some things are still in progress, and maybe we'll see some new additions as the summer goes on. And I also got to stop by Evermore Resort for my
Yes.
first time. Huge new resort right
Crazy,
outside of
right?
Disney World.
Yeah.
Massive. They've got a gorgeous Conrad hotel there. We got to tour some of the vacation homes, which if I ever hit the lottery and want to invite 13 of my favorite relatives over for these gorgeous homes that have, bunk beds and arcades for the kids and movie theater. And you can even get someone to come in and cook your holiday dinner for you, and they'll clean it up. So yeah, thanks to Evermore for having us out there for a visit. And if you're in the Orlando area, it's not in a theme park, but kind of theme park related. Ride the Cyclone. It's kind of a cult hit off-Broadway musical, really big with the kids on YouTube. The Central Florida premiere of it's going on at Theater South Playhouse, which is right near Universal. It's just a couple miles from Universal. and great performance. I knew nothing about the show going in. It's about a bunch of teenagers who die on a roller coaster.
Love it.
And it's sort of like Six meets Beetlejuice. I really liked it. So if you're into theme parks and deadly thrill rides and musical theater, go check that out at Theater South Playhouse.
I love it. Well, I don't know if I got to talk to you, but I got to see Back to the Future, the musical.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh my gosh. I will preface it by saying, I know you're like me. We grew up in a time where I thought theater was so good, between Les Mis, Miss Saigon. A
Mhm.
lot of the new stuff I see because I still love and support live theater, but it just doesn't hit me in the heartstrings like the
Sure.
classics. So I go in kind of with not a very open mind, but I try. Back to the Future, the musical, was one of the best productions I've ever seen. And I've heard
wow.
to a lot of people that are also in the same kind of camp as us where we're like, about a lot of the new stuff. It was amazing. I mean, I just left and I was like, I want to watch this instantly again right now. So if the tour is coming to you, I highly recommend. The talent was unreal. The music, the production. I mean, it was everything. It blew me away. I cannot wait to see it again.
We've got to wait a little bit longer to get it in Orlando, but I know it is on tour, and
Yes.
I've seen clips of the effects and the way the car with the video screen backdrop, and I'm very jealous. I'm glad you got to see it.
Yeah, so see it. It is so good, and I'm excited for everyone else.
All right. Well, without any further ado, why don't we go ahead and jump straight into the news in the queue. All right, first up, we've recently been talking a lot about the Country Bears, which officially returned to Walt Disney World. Well, they're also coming back to Disneyland in a way. The Hungry Bear restaurant at Disneyland, which has been there since the 70s, is closed right now for the transformation of Splash Mountain into Tiana's. And when it reopens, it's going to have a new name and a new theme. It's going to be the Hungry Bear Barbecue Jamboree. It's going to have a brand new menu of barbecue food, and it's going to have some references to the Country Bears, including a musical soundtrack of the Bears' greatest hits. And this is already, I love this location. The menu has not been the greatest for a few years.
Yeah.
So this will be a great reason to go back to the Hungry Bear, I think.
Yes. My one thing, I was really surprised by this. As everyone knows, D23 is coming up. I don't understand. I don't know what they're going to announce, obviously, but I don't understand why they didn't save this for that and had Big Al come out on the stage. Like, it could have been really cool and actually a hype-worthy news piece.
Yeah, this was a really random drop. That kind of came out of left field. So maybe we'll hear more about it and how it ties into the the overall makeover of that whole Critter Country area at D23. And they have said that this is not going to be a character dining location, unfortunately, because I think it would be great to have the Country Bears make walk around appearances.
Oh wow!
I'm also not counting on any animatronics, though. I know they had 2 sets of the heads, the Melvin, Max, and Buff, the mounted heads on the wall. At Disneyland, there were 2 separate theaters. When they turned that into Winnie the Pooh, one set of those heads stayed on the wall, and if you turn around behind you about halfway through the ride, you can still see them hanging on the wall. But there was a second set of heads that's got to be somewhere in Imagineering, somewhere in the vault, and I would love it if they would put them up on the wall.
I mean,
I don't expect to see it,
how cool would that be if it was like a Showbiz Pizza, Chuck E. Cheese?
Yeah. I would love
version?
it.
Oh my God, they would get so much attention and people would just go nuts.
It really would be the world coming full circle, because I just did an interview with NPR about the Country Bears coming back, and mentioned that Nolan Bushnell, who created Atari, really wanted to work at Disneyland in his youth, because he was obsessed with the Enchanted Tiki Room and then later the Country Bears. And he was rejected from a job at Disney. So he took all his Atari money and started Chuck E. Cheese, basically because he wanted to have his own animatronics singing. And so if we could get some animatronic bears in Disneyland's restaurant, that would seriously be a full circle moment.
So cool.
Well, this news, as I mentioned, just comes a few days after the Country Bear Musical Jamboree officially reopened at the Magic Kingdom. I know we've got a video of that up on our YouTube. And as this is all part of the ongoing transformation of Critter Country, Tiana's Bio Adventure is coming sometime later this year. And they're also transforming the Briar Patch gift shop into Ray's Berets. And half of the Pooh's Corner store is turning into Louie's Critter Club. So keep an eye out for all of these changes, and as we bear with the construction over at Critter Country.
That was a good one.
You know I had to get a bear pun in there.
Yes.
Come on. Next up, heading back to Universal Orlando, and now for something completely different. We've got confirmation that the popular Nightmare Fuel dance shows are coming back to Halloween Horror Nights, and this year's theme is going to be the Nocturnal Circus. This is going to be the fourth version of Halloween Nightmare Fuel. It's been around since 2021. It replaced the Academy of Villains, which we're not going to talk about, and before that, the Bill and Ted show. Rest in peace. The description for this year's show is step right up to a dark circus, a new nightmare that carries with it a sinister curse, a thrilling spectacle of pyro and aerialists. What's your take? Are you a fan of the Nightmare Circus?
I love Nightmare Fuel.
Yeah.
It is so good, especially if you sit in the front, kind of behind that little mini stage where last year the female character was on there.
Mm-hmm.
It is so good. It is like, it's so like sexualized and maybe something you wouldn't expect if you've never seen like a haunt event show like this.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot wait for like a naughty circus. Like that's what I'm just imagining in my mind.
Yeah, some of my friends work on this, choreographers, dancers, and they really put their all into this. I loved the first year. The second year was kind of like just a repeat of the first year. And it was okay. But last year I thought was absolutely fantastic when they brought in the female protagonist. They really upped the ante on all the pyro and the aerial effects, and I expect them to try to one-up themselves again this year. So I'm looking forward to that. I was a huge fan of Bill and Ted. Would see it multiple times every year. But personally, like by the last few Bill and Teds, I was like, I don't get any of these references. I feel so old. I feel so old. So it's nice to have a show that I don't have to know any current memes to appreciate.
No, you don't have to know anything. You just have to sit back and enjoy. And it is so much fun. And I truly can't wait for this. I mean, just everything that we know about HHN so far, it looks like it's going to be a bomb year.
Yeah. In addition to this show, of course, we've talked about the IP houses and the original houses that have been released. We've gotten some information lately about scare zones. I think we've got one haunted house left to confirm.
Yes.
But it all kicks off August 30th, runs through November 3rd here in Orlando. And we've got great coverage of all the announcements linked on our website. And if you want to take a trip to Halloween Horror Nights, MEI and Universal Fan Travel can get you there.
Yes.
All right. In other Universal news, I am so happy to report that after a decade of being a role exclusively held by men, the night bus conductor is finally got a female actor who has been trained into the role and recently debuted. This is the first and only female for this role. I assume it will be open to others in the future. But for now, keep an eye out for her. You might recognize her. We don't try not to mention names of theme park performers because the their bosses don't like that all that much.
And
But
there's a lot of
privacy and
weirdos out there.
spoiling the magic. But you might notice that she's familiar if you've been to the horror makeup show, or if you have seen the mime that performs at SeaWorld. So she is definitely busy and gets around. Really great performer, and very happy that they have finally broken this rule. The rumor is always that J.K. Rowling insisted. I don't know if that's true. I haven't read a contract that said that, but this follows not long ago. They brought in a female Hogwarts Express conductor. I think they've got at least 2 there now. So
yes,
nice
this is
to see
really
that opening up.
cool. I will say though, I don't want either of these roles because the costumes are so heavy.
Oh
And
my God. Yeah. I don't want this job because you have like no shade. You're standing out there next to a hot metal bus that is just like a trap for the sun's energy. And yeah, this is a costume that is designed to be worn in England during the winter, right? So yes, thoughts and prayers for those performers, and I hope you're having fun.
Yes, I mean that's always one of my favorite stops when I'm walking by. I like to go say hi to the head. It is a good role. It is very fun. But yeah, I'm good with not taking either of these roles on.
Okay, you're not going to steal that job from any of these hardworking performers. All right. Well, keep an eye out, and if you see her, say hello. Next in the news, we've got something that, for a change, that isn't Disney or Universal. We have a list of the top 10 must-visit theme parks that are not Disney or Universal parks in the United States. This list comes to us by social casino site Hello Millions. So you can take that for what it's worth.
I love these surveys. When I get these emails, I'm like, I don't understand what this is.
How did you come up? What? How? So what they explain is that they analyzed over 500 parks across America that were not part of the Disney or Universal chains. They calculated a score out of 100 based on Google, TripAdvisor, and Yelp ratings, based on the percentage of 5-star reviews on each of the 3 platforms, and also TikTok posts with relevant hashtags. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's, I would not say this is necessarily a scientific, critically evaluative study, or more of like a popularity contest on social media, but take it for what it's worth. Here is their list of the top 10 must-visit parks in the U.S.
And it's not really anything shocking, FYI.
No.
It's all very well-known.
I have some questions about some omissions and some of the placements, but there's nothing out here that's totally crazy. Well, maybe one. At 10, we have SeaWorld in San Diego. Number 9, Dollywood's Splash Country, not Dollywood itself, but just their water park. Number 8, Aquatica in San Antonio. Number 7, something that definitely deserves to be on the list, but maybe even higher, Hershey Park in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Number 6, which I think is a fair spot for it, Busch Gardens in Tampa Bay. Coming in at number 5, and I probably would have put this in my top 3, Knott's Berry Farm out in Buena Park, California. This is the one that stumped me. Water Country USA in Williamsburg, Virginia. This is the water park that is near Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, which is not on this list, and I think that's a crying shame. I would have swapped out the real park for the Water Country. Number 3, Kings Island.
I love that this is on here. I do love.
Yeah, that's a very solid choice. If you're a roller coaster fan, that is definitely a must see. Number 2, SeaWorld Orlando. Fair enough. It's probably the only big park that isn't Disney or Universal that can be mentioned in the same breath. And then coming in at number 1, Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. And I have not personally been there, but it is the roller coaster capital of the world. So that seems like a pretty fair pick.
Yes. I don't ever understand these lists, but they are fun to look through and talk about.
Right. I just I'm just scratching my head that Water Country gets on that list, but Busch Gardens Williamsburg, which is one of my favorite parks anywhere, is not. But
great. And also Dollywood and Silver Dollar City.
Dollywood and Silver. Oh yeah.
And
Some
weird
definite
thing,
omissions.
yeah, I mean, they said that they take the TikTok for Dollywood. It's like a very big thing. So
Hmm.
I don't understand these lists. But again, I
Yeah.
mean, someone just made this.
Apparently, people really like water parks because there's a surprising number of water parks on that list.
Yeah.
And speaking of water, if you're afraid to go in the water, it might be because you saw Jaws at way too young an
Dun-dun,
age.
dun-dun.
Well, this year has been the 50th anniversary of the book Jaws, and next year, 2025, they'll be celebrating the 50th anniversary of Steven Spielberg classic film. And of course, to celebrate, we've got to have a big 50th anniversary documentary, which is being produced not by Universal, which owns Jaws, but instead by Disney Plus, Hulu, and National Geographic.
Yes, when I read that headline, I was like scratching my head. I'm like, wait, what?
Well, there's a very simple answer for why on earth they would do that, and that is Shark Week. Yes, Shark Week has become a huge tradition, and it is a major brand for National Geographic, which is now owned by Disney. So Disney is getting in the Jaws business with this big new documentary that will release next summer on all of their streaming platforms. The documentary is being directed by Laurent Borenzo, who also directed the 2015 documentary on the making of the 1995 documentary on the making of Jaws, which was on the old DVDs and was really like one of the first really great full-length making of documentaries on a DVD. So I'm really excited to see what he does coming back to that story now 30 years later.
Yeah, when I was reading through this, what really surprised me was I didn't realize how young Steven Spielberg was when
he was a kid. Yeah,
yes.
It's amazing that they gave him because I believe when he got the job to direct Jaws, he had directed one feature film, Sugarland Express, but I don't think it had even come out yet when he was hired to direct Jaws. Like his big thing that kind of got him the job was Duel. Look this up. It's Deul. Did I spell that or D-U-E? Oh my God, I can't spell. Anyway, it is this
and you're
great.
A writer.
Yeah, I am so. This is why I have spell check. Oh my God.
Fact.
We'll just edit that out, please. So this amazing TV movie, Duel, was one of his first directing projects, and it's about this guy being chased by a truck, and you can see a lot of that ended up in Jaws, and I think that was kind of like his audition to do Jaws. But yeah, he was like 28 years old at the
crazy
time, and created what was at the time the biggest movie ever, and it led to the Jaws attractions that we have still today at some Universal parks around the world. Hopefully they will have some mention of that in this new documentary coming out next year as part of Shark Fest.
Wow, I mean, people love Shark Week. I love it. So fun.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of this week's News in the Queue. Before we jump into the main attraction, it's time to hear a word from our sponsors.
The Attractions Podcast is brought to you by MEI and MEI-Travel. Whether your next vacation is a magical trip to the theme parks, an exciting adventure to the pyramids of Egypt, or just a relaxing cruise on the turquoise waters of the Bahamas, MEI-Travel provides premium service and expert advice to help you get the most of your vacation. They are always free of any hidden fees or costs to you. Visit them at mei-travel.com.
Okay, that was interesting. Let's try that again.
It's time for the main attraction.
Well, I apologize for the brief audio interruption. I believe that the website of our next topic just crashed my browser.
Oh no.
Just right into talking about it without bringing up the very heavy video that was streaming in the background. Utopia of the Seas, the latest ship to launch from the Royal Caribbean. They are doing short trips out of Florida, and you got to be one of the very first people on the boat. So I'm going to let you take over this. I will jump in and ask some annoying questions.
Please, yes.
Otherwise, I just want to hear all about your experience. You have been, I know we were both on Wonder of the Seas, and there was Icon of the Seas. You've done Icon of the Seas, and this is sort of in the same family, but it's got some differences, right?
Yes.
So
So,
just start from the top and
yes.
tell us all about it.
So I was had to explain this because it is a little confusing. Royal Caribbean does their ships in different classes.
Mhm.
So we had the Icon, which debuted earlier this year,
Mhm.
which is in its own class.
Oh, okay.
This
All
new
right.
ship, Utopia, is in the Oasis class ship. So it's
Okay.
technically a sister to Wonder, which we
Wonder. All right.
to do. Yes. But what I love about it is I really don't like week-long cruises. But the week-long cruises are the ones with all the bells and the whistles and all the
Mhm.
fun. This takes the bells and the whistles and the fun, but you could do 3 or 4 nights, which is 4 nights is like my sweet spot. That's
Mm.
where I really. So I love that they're introducing such a big ship with so many offerings, entertainment activities, but to a short-term cruise market.
Mhm.
So that's their whole thing. They're going out like this is the biggest weekend. I will say I had so much fun, and my husband finally is like, I love cruises. Like he's like
Wow.
cherishing his room key. Literally, he's like, I can't wait to go on another one. And I kind of feel that same way too. And I think it's because when I've gone on short-term sailings, the ships are like, they're not as cool as these with like what
Yeah.
water park, the big ice skating show, and this has all of those things in a few days.
Mhm.
Yes, maybe some people want to spend more time because there's more to do than you can even fit into the 3 days.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. The food was great. And so it just kind of takes, if you love the Wonder, which I love the Wonder,
Mm.
it takes some of those favorite things, but makes them better. So
Okay.
there's a lot of like Royal Caribbean favorites on the ship. Giovanni's was there in a new true
Mhm.
story. I had one of the best meals I've had in a while there, which was
Oh, wow.
crazy because we had just come from New York visiting family and of course eating like Italian food for every
Uh-huh.
meal. So I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to go here. I'm so glad I did. It was delicious. The Ultimate Abyss, which is this dry slide
Yeah.
on the back. So this one has the longest one ever. So it is the longest dry
Okay.
slide at sea. When I've done it on the Wonder, I thought it was kind of slow and I didn't get it.
I agree.
Yes. So on
Cool
this one,
idea, but it was kind of meh when you were actually
yes,
on it.
they added rollers to the track. So
You need that.
lie down. We did it, and then we immediately took the elevator back up to the top and did it again.
And is it just dark inside, or they add any like
There's lights,
visual?
and there's
Yeah, that
new-
makes a big difference.
Yes, there's new translucent tunnels.
Ooh,
so
I love
you
that.
could see like your racing partner across from you to see if they're jetting out. But it was so good, so fun, and with the rollers, you just go so fast.
Very
And
cool.
then there's also a lot of new concepts. So first one is the Royal Railway Utopia station.
Did you get to dine in there?
I didn't get to dine in there,
Wow.
but I did. They did an open house, so you
Oh,
could
okay.
see everything. So cool, immersive actors. It's
Mhm.
Wild West theme. You're sitting. It looks like a train, like an old
Yeah.
school style train. The video screens were awesome. It was so cool, and the food is kind of like I would say an American-ish,
Yeah.
like short ribs and baked beans and stuff.
Like
and
Old West cowboy.
Yeah, and
But
so cool.
Yeah.
It is very small. There's just 2 dining cars.
yeah, it looks like they could have built that out a lot more, and I guess that's going to be booked up solid the whole time.
Yes.
Did
People
I?
have been asking. So I think the second you get on that ship, I don't know,
Yeah.
go to guest services or see what you can do
Mhm.
because it's very tiny, but it does take up a lot of space because you go to a train station, then there's a pre-bar,
Mm.
then there's the 2 trains that you board. So they really did a good job with it.
That's really cool. Yeah, you were saying how 4 nights is kind of the sweet spot for you. I know it's the sweet spot for my cats because whenever
Yeah.
it's 7 nights, they're like, "Who are you people? What happened?" 4 nights is just enough time because like a 2 or 3 night, you don't even get to really settle in.
Yeah.
Like when we were on the Wonder, I was just running from morning till night trying to see everything. And
Yes.
I didn't even get to see every part of the ship in the couple days.
Right. That was me on Icon. I think I sat once for 5 minutes and then it was just like running and running and running. Also on the Utopia, brand new concept for Royal is the Pesky Parrot, a tiki bar.
Oh.
I spent the bulk of my time in there. Let's just say that. It is so good, and they do a nice they have video screens like Trader Sam's,
Okay.
but next level.
Wow.
And
Okay.
as the day goes on, the screens go from daytime to nighttime. And
Ah.
it was so cool, and they have, like, the Bahamas pigs, the famous pigs that live on the
Mhm.
beach. They have on the video, they're running around. It is
Oh.
so cool, and the
Do they
drinks
have
are
any,
so good.
like, special effects tied to drinks like they do at, Trader Sam's?
No, they do
No?
not, but the bartenders were fantastic. It's a mix of tropical drinks and then
Mhm.
several, like, classic tiki drinks. I
Mhm.
did the Queen's Park Swizzle, which was
Mm.
amazing. That's kind of what I stuck to, but I sampled some of the frozen drinks. I loved also all the bartenders for the first time ever. Royal didn't make a uniform for the pesky parrot, but gave each of them a budget to pick a tropical shirt that
I
reflected
love that.
style.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
So I mean, they were all in like different types of, I would say, call them like Hawaiian shirts, but it was so cool. And I thought that was really nice that you could pick something that was you. And the people that worked there were just really excited and like had asked to be transferred to it. So definitely you will spend a lot of time there. And also it's just beautiful. The
Mm.
interior, they did such a good job with the wicker furniture, even the roof. I mean, they did such a great job with it. It was
Mm.
also packed the entire time we were there. So I know it's going to
I
be
Yeah,
successful.
I can imagine. My favorite thing, from the Wonder was the entertainment, the diving show, the ice show, the stage shows. What kinda entertainment did they have on the new
All of the
ship?
above. The ice show is a new version of it.
Mhm.
There's a sit down musical production. There's a comedy attic, which is where they have the comedy shows each night. I actually went to that one night, and it was a few of the performers from The Wonder were on it, who
Mm.
are amazing. And I've
Mm.
laughed so hard. There's also the music hall, which, if
Mhm.
you remember from other ships, and they have the band called Phoenix, which is like a rock cover band.
Mm.
So much fun. Again, so there's like all the entertainment lineup of these longer ships
Mhm.
on shorter sailings,
Yeah.
which is so cool.
Yeah, I read an article about it and said that they were trying to make the performances slightly shorter than they would be on the other ships so that you can pack more things into one night.
Yes. So you do kind of run around if you want to do that, but you also don't have to do it.
Mhm.
My favorite on this ship was a group of team members that are called the influencers, and
Okay.
so they're
Usually
basically,
I beware I'm afraid of influencers. So are
yes.
these good influencers or bad influencers?
Amazing. So imagine Citizens of Hollywood that we had at Hollywood
Oh,
Studios, but Citizens of Royal, and they play
oh, I love
different
it.
parts throughout the time on board. The first night at midnight, there was a frat party, and the citizens were in their like Greek logo thing playing
Uh-huh.
beer pong. One it was brilliant, and they get
Yeah.
really into it. One night, I went to the club. I've never gone to a club on the ship because I usually don't stay up that late.
Mhm.
But DJ Rev Run, like from Run DMC,
Oh,
was on
wow.
our sailing, and he was DJing. So I was like, I have to stay up
You gotta, yeah.
to see him. And the influencers were in the club with like literally prop Red Bulls dancing. At the pool, the influencers were also there in their tiny bathing suits with prop White Claws
Oh,
dancing at a pool party, and they interact with guests. And it was just such a level of detail that I appreciate as a, theme park fan,
uh-huh.
themed attractions fan, that I just stared at them for hours because it was so funny. And like that's the type of detailing Royal does. And that is
Mm.
why I love Royal and Disney cruises, because they offer me all the bells and whistles and then these little things that people might not even have known that they were actors at the pool because they just
Uh-huh.
blended in with everyone. But I just thought like that's what makes the difference.
That's awesome. Speaking of theme parks, the cruise ships have turned into floating theme parks. Like with
Yes.
you mentioned the water park. You know, a lot of them have thrill rides or simulator rides. Did you get to do any theme park style attractions while you were on the ship?
So there's 3 water slides on this one. The main like toilet bowl one, that,
Mm-hmm.
that spins, it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
operational. So there was just the 2, and the wait was like an hour, and I was like, I can't dedicate
Sure.
this long. There's also a really cool mini golf area, and then
Ooh.
there's a play water park, I'd say, like a waterscape.
Mm.
the back of the ship. That was really cool. But as far as like, like on Icon, I swung over the side of the ship.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah,
do
yeah.
stuff quite like that, but there's
Okay.
still a lot to do.
Awesome. And you touched a little bit on the food. Did you do main dining or buffet or specialty dining?
All the things. We
All the
did do the
things.
main dining. Yes, it was so good. And again, like this is why I really enjoy Royal and all the sailings I've been on, is because I don't really care about like how much food they give you if it's not good quality.
Hmm.
And the food on Royal, and at least in my experience, has always been good. My favorite actually is the poolside Mexican quick service place, which is also on
Oh.
the Wonder. It's like
Uh-huh.
kind of off the pool. It's so good. You just made like a nice salad bowl, really fresh ingredients. That was like my favorite spot for lunch. And then also new on this ship is a food truck, which
Hmm.
is genius. It's
Oh,
right
that's great.
next to the pool with all food that you can just go and quickly get something, because when you're wet, you can't go into
Right.
Windjammer
Yeah,
for
yeah.
lunch in your bathing suit. So to have that option of like, oh my God, I just realized I'm starved, and to run and go get it. And they have tornadoes, which a lot of people are like, what is a
What
tornado?
is a tornado?
It's like a 7-Eleven taquito. So it's like a deep
Oh, okay.
fried thing stuffed with meat. I had the pepperoni and cheese one, amazing. Adam had one that was tasted almost like burrito shredded beef.
Ooh.
It was so good. I think we had like 4 one day. But again, to just they also have sandwiches and whatnot. But just to have that there,
Yeah.
so easy. Another small note, but makes a difference to me, is the amount of Coca-Cola Freestyle machines everywhere. And I
Oh,
don't drink soda, but I do drink water. So to be able to just kind of quickly bring your
sure.
bottle up, and they were like everywhere. There were
And
a lot
I
of them.
assume they do like a refillable drink package
Yes,
there.
yeah, they
Yeah.
do a soda package if
But
you
I
are
can't just
soda
bring my
drinker.
universal freestyle cup, right?
Yes. So to just be able to like get some cold water at the pool and not have to wait in a line or buy bottled
Yeah.
water. That's the kind of like little differences that mean something to me as a water
Hmm.
drinker.
Whenever I'm on a cruise, I spend very little time in my cabin, but I know it's important to some people. What were your accommodations like?
We had a balcony exterior room.
Nice.
So nice. I mean, it's just super modern, warm tones, and also, which Adam and I were really surprised, it felt like there was a lot of room. I have
Mm.
to actually look at what the square footage is and compare it to other, but we had so much stuff with us because we had just come from Orlando and then, went directly on this cruise. So we actually had like a lot of things,
Mm.
but I never felt like my things were everywhere and there
Hmm.
was room to move about. Great shower, which I did not
Oh.
expect. I was like, wow, the water pressure is really good. And one of my friends also on board, who was like 6'5", was like, that was an excellent shower, because he usually has issues. Uh,
Right. Right. Yeah. A lot of times
Very
those
good
cruise
guy.
showers just like hit you in chest level, like you have to
Yes.
duck to get
So
under.
the room was great, very comfortable bed, and like I said, I felt like I had space for my stuff, which isn't always the case on cruises.
Yeah. Yeah. And most importantly, were there enough power outlets to charge your phones?
Oh yes, a
Speaking of
lot.
phones, I heard your phone didn't enjoy the trip too much.
So I have the memories to remember this trip,
Oh,
but I don't have all the content that I spent so many hours
oh
going to get.
no.
My, obviously I back my phone up to iCloud, but when you're on that slow Wi-Fi, it can take
Uh-huh.
like hours to transition one video, because these videos
Mhm.
are so long to sync. So my phone had a little too much sun. I will say if it is very hot to
Yeah.
cruise in the summer. I usually don't. I have before. I did wear my neck fan with me like the entire time, which I usually only wear in theme parks.
Mm,
Very hot. I think between the day that we spent exploring the pool decks and then we went to Coco,
mm,
it died, and it brought
mm.
along with it most of my stuff. I do have some pictures because I think it was just like all the video stuff didn't sync. Yes, so I have a new phone
Yeah.
now.
That's a I cannot imagine if I was on a work trip and my phone died, my brain would just melt out my ears. I
Yes.
I would
Yeah,
cry.
again, like I definitely there were tears. I definitely cried because
Oh.
you spend a lot of time getting the content and then it's
Mm,
gone. But it happens. I guess if you are going on a cruise when it's hot, maybe bring a hard drive and manually back up your stuff
yeah.
because It's
I, you
hot,
know,
and I mean these devices can't handle everything. So
normally I would say leave your phone in your room, get off of your phone during your
right,
cruise. But I know that like I think that Royal has an app, and like a lot of things you gotta kind of depend on an app to schedule your trip. So
yeah. I mean,
can't
and that's the same
necessarily
with
just
Disney too. It's like
yeah.
you have to be by your phone, and of course taking pictures and
Mm-hmm.
whatnot. But if you are just on vacation, I would say just leave your phone in the room
Yeah.
when you go lay out or
Yeah.
whatever.
Get
Because
get a cheap disposable camera.
yes, exactly. So that was fine, and
uh,
I'm mostly sad because at a perfect day at Coco Cay, it
mm.
was my birthday, and we went to the new Hideaway Beach Club, which is the new
Oh
adults
yes.
only, and it's an infinity pool on the
Mm-hmm.
beach with
And
a
look,
DJ, so it's kind of like a Vegas day club, which in my
yes,
normal life I would never go to something like that. But we're in the Bahamas. This is so
sure.
fun. And we were there, and Michael Bailey, the CEO of Royal Caribbean, came
Ah.
and walked along on top of the bar. He's on the bar with
Ah.
the Champagneator, which is a water gun that
Oh, spray.
squirts champagne in your mouth. And I got a video of him squirting champagne in my
Ah.
mouth, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is the coolest moment," because he's just like
All
the
right.
funnest CEO if you follow him on
We
social.
we have to send this phone to the FBI or CIA, whoever it is that like recovers dead phones. There's got to be a way to extract. This is important
I
data.
know. Oh yes. Oh, I did go to the Apple Store and spent many hours there, but it is
Uh,
fully fried. But I will have the memory. I do have a photo because I
okay, good.
tweeted the photo, so I was able to pull the photo
Uh,
from Twitter of him shooting the champagne in my mouth. It was such a cool moment. So
uh,
the memories will last.
oh, well, is there anything else about your trip on Utopia that you want to share?
Huh. I would say if you are resistant to cruising, which I kind of have been going in and out of it for
Hmm.
many years, I definitely love Disney and Royal. This cruise gave me the cruise bug, and literally last night I was like looking up Virgin Voyages because now
Ah,
I want to do other stuff.
ah,
So I would try it out. I think the 4 night one. So it goes between 3 and 4 nights. So you're either like a long weekend or during the week. But the
hmm,
vibe is going to be the same the weekend. I
yeah.
would definitely try this out if you've been thinking about cruising a good short amount of time. You don't go far. So if you are
Hmm.
prone to motion sickness, sometimes longer things make me nervous because we're like hustling.
Yeah.
They're barely driving this ship.
I saw the track of your ship, and it was literally just sort of making little squiggly lines, like little
Yes.
circles offshore.
Yes.
It was barely going anywhere.
So if you are prone to sickness, which I have definitely gotten sick many times,
Hmm.
you are barely moving. I didn't feel anything. And you'll look out and you'll see like it was kind of
Mm,
like 1 mile an hour,
yeah,
because it's not going far. This could be the ship for you to
yeah.
try. And of course, it's fun. The Royal team, everyone is such a good vibe. I mean, the workers were really excited to be on board. So, yes, I think this is a good little like entryway if you want to try cruises. And I've done all the major lines except for Virgin, which I have to do,
Hmm.
and Royal and Disney are still my two favorite. Very different.
Hmm.
Very, very, very different.
Yeah.
But my favorite because of the service, the food, the rooms, and the entertainment.
Well, when you do book that Virgin trip, let me know because I've been wanting to get on there too. I've
Yes.
heard very good things about that.
Yes.
So,
Everyone raves about it. Like if you like Royal, you will love Virgin. Same deal with the food and everything. So yeah. So I think I have the cruise bug officially. This wasn't
well,
this
I
was
think
the first
you've
one this year
transferred it to
so
me because
far.
now I want to go on a cruise too. I'm
Yes,
actually going
I
to
know.
be
And
going on the Sun Princess this fall. I'm looking forward to that.
yes. Oh, that looks amazing. Although, did you see that all the activities were just canceled? Like the ropes course? Yes, they just
No,
announced it that it's undeliverable. So that like hanging thing that you fly. So which is kind of
no.
an issue because they're
Oops.
really trying to market it as like a
Well,
family friendly
a-
more.
as
So
long as I have to look that up, I did not hear that. But as long as they still have the Magic Castle, they have
yes,
a
that was
bar
not
that
part of
is
it.
yeah
It was
good.
mostly just like the
That's all I that's the number one reason I want to go on that ship.
oh
So
my god, it's gonna be amazing.
I can't wait. Well, before we wrap this up, let's take a look back at some of the comments
Yes.
that you left us. Um, Mr. Fulton Mraz said hello, and July 20th was his big 25th birthday. So congratulations and happy birthday. Vince Lamb checking in to wish a happy Monday to us and a welcome back to Carly.
Woohoo!
Yes, you definitely picked a good week to be away and an interesting one to come back on. A Disney cruise is still on Michael Bingham's bucket list. I hope you get there someday.
Yes.
Start saving because the Disney cruise is definitely not cheap, but you do get what you pay for.
I agree completely. Yes.
All right. Well, before we go, we want to thank again our sponsors, MEI and MEI-Travel. Want to remind all of you to please give us a rating or review wherever you listen to us, if that's Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Also, if you're watching us on YouTube, give us a like and subscribe. And please be sure to follow us at attractionsmagazine.com and search for Attractions Magazine on your favorite social media platforms. Carly, where can folks find you on the socials?
Yes, I am on Instagram at Adventures by Carly and on X at Carly Caramana.
And I am at S. Kuberski and at The Unofficial Guides. And you can find copies of my guidebooks at theunofficialguides.com. Until next week, I hope you folks stay safe, try something new, and most importantly, have fun. We will see you again next time. Bye.
Bye.